YTPC Padre Piper, taken to the virtual airwaves of YouTube to say, hello YouTube Pipe community, I hope you are blessed today. It's not a very blessed-filled day. I'm sure you've had the news on, at least over here in the States. It's Friday as I'm recording this. And I'm assuming I'll get this up on Friday, and there's just, the news is just not good out of Texas. First, before I get to my rant on that, a little bit of house cleaning. Smoking my Erik Nording bent Dublin shape. This is a beautiful pipe, this Erik Nording. And it was a gift to me probably about 2 years or so ago by my friend Mark VV. If you're interested in harassing him to make some videos, because he hasn't done it in for forever, I'll put a link to his channel down in the cellar and you can harass him. This is a wonderful pipe. You know what? And I left my tamper on the other side of the room. And I probably need to get it at some point. Continuing with house cleaning. Why am I saying house cleaning? I'm going to tell you that in a moment. What am I smoking in it? You know, hang on. Just don't go anywhere. I'm even going to take the microphone off. Don't go nowhere. I'm back. Put this back on. All right. I am smoking look at there. That is Samuel Gawith Grousemoor. It's allegedly an aromatic tobacco. Allegedly a tobacco whose recipe is over 200 years old. Now, that in itself just amazes me. Think about that for a moment. The blend that I'm smoking today, 200 plus years ago, folks were enjoying. And of course, I'm not going to give you a full review of this, but you know, like so many Samuel Gawiths, it comes in this square-shaped tin like this. It comes soaking wet. So you've got to give it some drying time, or else it will have problems lighting and staying lit. I've had this. I opened this tin earlier today, and this is what I was going to smoke. I sat out for close to 2 hours, and it's still a little moist. So I may have to do some relights. But it's got that Lakeland essence about it. I know not everybody likes that. I tend to sort of like it. It's a little bit on the floral side. It certainly comes through. I'll tell you what tobaccoreviews.com says. This 200-year-old blend is comprised of hand-stripped flue-cured Zimbabwe leaf, steamed to a golden color, then stoved into a unique melange of flavors. The aroma is of lemongrass. And I don't know if you can smell that aroma, but it's allegedly of lemongrass. I just enjoy the flavor. I think it's quite flavorful. I enjoy the Lakeland's essence, and I can see me going to this summer as the warm weather continues to prevail. This pipe is Erik Nording. As I mentioned, was gifted to me by Mark VV. And when I pulled it out today, I said, this is the pipe I want to smoke this afternoon. I sent him a text and I shot a picture of the pipe and I said, do you remember this pipe? He said, oh, absolutely. I said, why did you give it to me? And he gave it to me brand new. I mean, it's not like he, picked this up at an antique store and it smelled like some old codger. It was a brand new pipe when he gave it to me. And he texted back and he says something to the effect of, I don't know. I've been known to make really bad decisions. And I text back and I said, and I've been known to benefit from really bad decisions. So thank you for your bad decision making, Mark VV. And my only decision is I wish I would have dried this tobacco out starting yesterday instead of a couple hours ago. I don't know if you heard that. That was thunder overhead. So let me just get down to business here today. I wanted to talk about the GAW. There's some great entries. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that. And I want to rant, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that either because I don't want to stir anybody up. I just feel the need to rant. So maybe I'll rant first. 10 people dead. It seems like most of them are students in Texas at another mass shooting at a high school. And, there's no easy answers. And that's one of the things that really kind of ticks me off about the news coverage is experts from the left and experts from the right, they get out there and they act like there are easy answers. And there are none, folks. It's a complex issue. And I think back, and this is why I think it's a complex issue. I don't know that we always ask the right questions. And if you're not asking the right questions, you can't properly solve a problem. And this is a problem. When kids go to school and they end up dead by the end of the day because of a mass shooting, we have a legitimate problem on our hands. And I don't know that legislation is the answer. I'm sorry. I just don't know that gun control legislation is how we solve this problem. Why would I say that? Am I opposed to gun control legislation? No, not necessarily. Some common sense legislation. If background checks make people feel better, fine. Let's get together and decide how we can agree on background checks that would work. But I don't think a background check is going to stop a mass shooting. It's why? Well, because we already have laws on the books that say you can't take another person's life. Okay, and somebody who goes and does a mass shooting is a criminal. They don't follow the law. Why would they follow the law and get a background check? The elementary school shooter a couple years back did not own the gun that he used. I think it was a gun he took from his parents, and they had lawfully possessed that gun. He didn't, but he took it from someone else. The other thing is, I think when we go to this, we need to legislate the answer. What we're doing is we're shifting the blame. We're shifting the blame for bad behavior away from the bad actor, from the criminal, from the sociopath, from the psychopath, whatever you want to call them. And we're shifting the blame to the legislative process, and we're saying that's the problem, that the law is bad, or the law isn't good enough, or the law isn't strong enough. And it's absolutely silly in an instance like this to say that, because all the laws in the world, I don't think, are going to stop a criminal who wants to do what they did today, or what they did in Florida on February 14th, or what was done at the elementary school, or what was done in Colorado. They're breaking the law. By definition, they don't follow the law. So what else might be going on? I don't think it's about the laws. I really don't. I'm sorry, folks. That's a cop-out. That's a chance for people to get on TV and debate. We have to ask some different questions. What's different about our society? And here's why I ask that question, as I take one more pause to attempt to light up this moist tobacco. What's different? What's different about our society? Because I graduated high school 35 years ago, maybe. Yeah, about that, okay? And Down here in the South, now people may think this is crazy, but we had kids who would come to school. I'm not making this up. We had kids who come to school. They drove their pickup trucks to school, parked them in the school parking lot, and their pickup trucks had gun racks with shotguns in them. And nobody got shot. No one got shot at my school when I was there in the 80s. Yet these kids had guns out in the parking lot. They never pulled them out in the parking lot. They were hunters. Now schools are no gun zones, and yet people get shot in the no gun zones and they're killed. So what's different? What's different about 1984, 1983, 1985? What's different? Because the laws were on the books then too, that you couldn't shoot and kill somebody. It's murder. Is this a problem of legislation, or is this a problem of the heart? Is it a problem of not having the right laws on the books? And do we really believe that changing the laws on the books is going to change this behavior? This is evil behavior. But we don't want to ask tough questions, like what's different about, for instance, society? What's different about our culture? What's different about our family structures? What's different in 2018 than in 1985 when kids had shotgun racks in their pickup trucks and no one got shot? And we'd have fights after school. A kid with the pickup truck and the shotgun in the back, he'd get in a fight like anybody else, and it'd be broken up and the fight would be over. Nobody pulled a gun out and shot another kid, much less went on a rampage and did a mass shooting. What's different? And I don't think laws can change that. I just don't think that's the answer. That's putting false hope that a piece of paper with new ink on it that's going to make different kinds of laws about the purchase of guns or whatever. That's not going to solve the problem for the criminal, for the evil person who wants to go out and kill people. In fact, they're right now they're looking for explosives. Okay, I'm pretty sure there are laws on the book that said you can't build bombs and blow people up. But apparently that was done with the intent today. That was the intent, apparently. They're looking for these explosives from this suspect or suspects. When I was a teenager, I was in Boy Scouts. I got a Boy Scout merit badge. And I think it was called How to Keep Your Pipe Lit. No, I think it was called, in all honesty, it was called, the merit badge was Rifle and Shotgun Shooting. Okay, that was a merit badge that me and my peers, we earned in the 1980s as Boy Scouts. We didn't shoot each other. No one went to a Boy Scout meeting and shot the place up. What's different? I don't think it's the laws on the books that are causing this, or the lack of laws on the books that are preventing this. It's a state of humanity. It's evil in the world. It's the state of hearts of people. And I know some of you are probably screaming at your phone or your computer right now, thinking that Padre's lost his mind. But I'm sorry. That's just how I see it, folks. Laws are not going to change the hearts of people. And this is a heart problem. When people go out and mass murder other people, you can take every gun off the street, and a more effective means for mass murder would be to drive a truck and mow down a crowd. And we've seen that happen in Europe. We've seen knife attacks in countries where guns are not allowed. It's not about the legislation or the talking heads, we got to ask some tough questions. Is this a spiritual issue? Is this an issue of evil? It is, folks. It's an issue of evil. Are our families in good shape? By and large, no, they're not. Is parenting in desperate need of help these days? I think in a lot of places, yes, it is. I was earlier today, I was at a school. I do some volunteer work. It's a private Christian school, and they invite me to talk, and I love doing it. And I saw one of the coaches that I like to talk to and know well, and he had new glasses. I said, "Coach, you got new glasses?" He said, "Yeah." He says, "Padre, let me tell you about how I got these glasses." And he told me a story about a kid, a couple of kids. They were shooting basketballs in the gym, and he laid his glasses down on a table, and he walked away to do something. And the kids have supposedly, they should have put the balls up, but they didn't. And, okay, so they weren't following the rules. That's fine. Well, the ball came, and it hit the table, and it broke his glasses in two. And like he said, I'd been sitting at the table. I had to swat at the ball away. I do that all the time. But what upset him was when he came back and he looked at the kids, he says, "What happened here?" And no one spoke up. No one. None of the kids, there was 2 or 3 of them, they didn't take any responsibility for the damage they had done. And he was saying that's he sees that more and more, that there's this problem with people taking personal responsibility, and that there's this generation of kids being brought up right now by parents who have not instilled in their kids the need to take personal responsibility. And folks, this is at a private Christian school. And he said, "Well, let's go. We're all going to the office to see the principal." And at that point, the kid who was the guilty party, I mean, they were all guilty because they were shooting the basket when they shouldn't have been, but okay, minor. The kid says, "It was me, Coach. I shot the basket. It went awry. It landed on the table. It cracked your glasses. It was an accident." And the coach said, "Son, why didn't you just tell me that from the beginning? When you saw me walk in and you knew my glasses were broken, why didn't you just say, 'Coach, we shouldn't have been shooting the baskets. We did. It was an accident. I broke your glasses. I'm sorry.'" And he said that the kid's attitude was, it was an accident, and therefore you should just forget all about it, because now I've owned up to it and it was just an accident. But the fact is, he didn't own up to it. You see, he had to be confronted with it first, and then he went into a defensive posturing of, "It's not really my fault. It was an accident, and so therefore I shouldn't be held responsible." What's different about our society? Because I don't think that that's how I would have, or my cohorts, my peers 30, 35 years ago in school would have handled a situation like that. I just don't think so. I think that, this is going to sound politically incorrect, I think we would have manned up and we would have said, "Dude, we broke your glasses." Particularly if it's a coach that we like and respect it, we would have come clean. And I mean, I know that's one tiny little example. I don't know how that relates to what happened in Texas today. I just think it relates to the bigger question of what is different about our society today, where people will kill each other at a high school. Students will walk into a high school and just mow each other down like that. It didn't happen back when I was in high school, and we literally had guns on campus. I mean, yeah, they were locked away in the pickup trucks, but something's different, folks, and we've just got to admit that. And it's not the legislative process that's different and lacking and wanting. We can keep saying that all we want, and we can have the politicians on the left and the right fight about gun control, no gun control, lessening this, greater this. Folks, at the end of the day, it's about human beings. What are we teaching our children? What kind of moral relevance is attacking our world today, where right isn't always right and might even be wrong? and wrong might actually be right. And I may have a version of truth, and you may have a version of truth, and we can both say that we have truth, and we can defy the logic of the reality is if A is true exclusively and B is true exclusively, somebody's wrong. That defies logic. You can't have two truths. And then you can't say things like there is no such thing as truth, because you've defied logic in saying that. You've just offered a truism. You've said that your truth is there is no such thing as truth. Hogwash. Have we dumbed down our society? Really? I mean, are we that dumb now? I don't know. And I know I'm on a rant. It just upsets me. There are going to be families grieving today because their kids went to school this morning and they're not returning home tonight. They're not going to go have pizza with their family for dinner on Friday night. They're not going to a date. They're not going to graduation in 2 weeks. And I don't think it's about legislation, folks. We can keep pretending. We can keep putting our faith and our hope and our trust in our politicians. And that's a mistake. It's a huge, huge mistake. I'm going to stop my rant now. Really wanted to talk about this Grousemoor, but if you dry it out and you get a good smoke, it's an enjoyable smoke. If you like the Lakelands. And I do. Some people say soapy, some people say floral, some people say granny's panties. It's just a good flavor, folks. It's enjoyable. It's nice. You do have to sip it. Highly enjoyable. House cleaning. This beautiful Erik Nording handcrafted pipe from Mark VV, who made a bad decision and gifted it to me. Brand new. He doesn't know why. I'm just blessed. Thank you, brother, for doing that. It smokes this stuff well when it's dried out. Why am I saying house cleaning instead of housekeeping? Because I've got some wonderful video responses. I'm going to put the playlist down in the cellar. Go watch them. It's my Ain't There No More giveaway. 1,000 sub plus video responses. And one of the guys who did, and let me tell you, they're all excellent. And they're all over the place. Some of them are very serious. Some of them are very spiritual. Some are very philosophical. Some are just downright silly. Some are long. Some are short. Some are conceptual. People have put a lot of time and energy into doing this. Some haven't. And that's okay. Whatever. But there's one in particular that came up. If you remember, I was in one of my previous videos, somebody had given me crud when I first put the Gaw video up, saying that, you know, the vast majority of your subscribers are not video presenters, and so you've canceled them out from being able to participate in this appreciation giveaway because they don't make videos. And I thought, wow, that is a very good point, and I've been kind of wrestling with that issue and praying about how maybe I can do something before this is over with to incorporate that into there, and I still haven't given up on that idea. But the person who gave me crud about that made a video. He goes by the name of Lackadaisically, and this is his first video, and he did a conceptual video, and it's brilliant. It is sarcastic, bordering on sardonic at times, funny in a very dark kind of way. I like dark humor. It's hilarious. And he created a character named Naturalist Piper, who is from Denmark. And Naturalist Piper is visiting the grave of Lackadaisically, and he's offering a commentary, an obituary, a eulogy, if you will. So it's an alter ego of the person's channel commenting quite humorously on the person that he really is. And this was the guy who had never made a video. And I can see why, because as much time and effort that he put into doing this thing, if he did that every time he wanted to do a YTPC video, that'd have to be his full-time job. It's great. It's fantastic. I highly recommend that you go watch him. Watch the whole playlist, folks. And if you want to get in on it, please consider. We got all the way to the end of the month to participate in the Padres Ain't There No More 1,000 plus video response giveaway. And some good stuff. We're giving away tins of tobacco that ain't there no more. Some McClellan, some Syrian Latakia. You can watch the original video to see how we're going to divvy that up. And I encourage you to participate. And to all of my subscribers, I think the world of you, some of the best folks out there. Let me offer some apologies if my rant today was a little bit unwarranted. I don't claim to have all the answers, folks. I don't. I'm just a man, an imperfect human being. But I am beside myself when kids are not going to be coming home from school alive. And I just don't put my faith or trust in politicians and legislation. I don't think that's the answer. And I don't think we're asking the hard questions, because I don't think we want to go down that road. And if that upsets folks, maybe I shouldn't even apologize, because it's what I believe. It is what I believe. Legislation is not going to cure this problem. It's just not. There's something else going on. There's something else happening in our society. And if I hear one more person say, using this for political gain, all you people offering your thoughts and your prayers, that's not making kids come back to life. You know what? I don't give a crap what you think. I do offer thoughts, and I do offer prayers. It's one of the few things I can do. And I'm going to keep doing it. And if that offends you, turn me off, unsubscribe, move on. And don't come on with any of your nonsense of posting some kind of crap like that down in my comments, because I'll delete it and I'll block you. I pray. It's what I do. Folks, we need to pray. We need to pray for our nation. We need to pray for the families of those kids today, of all the dead, the first responders, the faculty, the kids that had to witness that, the kids that went through that. Because it's one of the few things that we can, at this very moment, do. And I happen to believe it makes a difference. I can't tell you how. I'm not smart enough. With all my degrees, I don't know that. And one day I'll ask God, how does it work? How does prayer really work? I don't know, God. But I'm so happy that I have the ability to do it. And I ask you to join me in doing it and praying for those folks, and praying for our nation, and praying for real answers, and praying that we have the fortitude and the courage and the strength to ask the real questions that are going to get to the bottom of the problem our society faces right now. And I'm going to get off my soapbox. And I'm going to go, I don't know, maybe microwave or put in the oven or something, this Grousemoor, so I can smoke it and dry it out. Thank you, Mark VV, for this Erik Nording Dublin. It's a beauty. I love benefiting from your dumb decisions. YTPC, I don't know what you're smoking this weekend. Whatever it is, I hope you're doing it and getting great joy and pleasure out of it. Until the next video, this is Padre Piper wishing you and yours God's peace, grace, and blessings.